Have you ever experienced a moment when something small, yet meaningful, fell apart in front of you? Maybe it was a favorite cup, a project you poured your heart into, or even an unexpected argument with someone close to you. Imagine this. Socrates, the great philosopher, accidentally breaks a cherished cup during dinner at a friend's house. The host's face flushes with anger, ready to erupt. But Socrates, calm and composed, simply smiles and says, "The cup's purpose was to break. Our purpose is not to let this moment break us or our bond." This story resonates because it reflects our everyday struggles. Life constantly tests us with minor inconveniences and major setbacks. How often do we allow these fleeting moments to control us? But what if, instead of reacting, we responded with wisdom and grace? In today's video, we'll dive into the timeless Stoic principles behind controlling emotions, staying grounded, and finding inner peace, even in the face of life's chaos. I'll guide you through actionable techniques that transform frustration into clarity and anger into growth. If this story resonates with you, hit the like button and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official for more content on mastering emotions. Share your personal stories in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've practiced patience and peace. Let's grow together, one lesson at a time. 1. Master your emotions. Eleanor worked in a fast-paced corporate environment where pressure and criticism were a daily reality. One morning, during a high-stakes meeting, her boss publicly criticized her presentation in front of the entire team. Her face burned with embarrassment, and anger welled up in her chest. The urge to defend herself, to lash out, was almost overwhelming. But instead of reacting impulsively, Eleanor took a deep breath. She remembered a principle she had read in Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. You always have the option of having no opinion. She paused, gathered her thoughts, and replied calmly, "Thank you for the feedback. I'll use this as an opportunity to improve." The room went silent. Her measured response left a lasting impression, not just on her colleagues, but on herself. That moment marked the beginning of her journey to mastering her emotions. This story illustrates one of the most profound lessons of Stoic philosophy. Our emotions are not dictated by external events, but by how we choose to interpret them. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a beacon of Stoic wisdom, taught us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The criticism Eleanor faced was an external event. It wasn't inherently good or bad. What gave it meaning was her interpretation. And by choosing to respond with calm rather than anger, she reclaimed control of her peace. It's easy to blame others for how we feel. When someone cuts us off in traffic or makes a snide remark, our instinct is to react, to let frustration boil over. But in doing so, we hand them control over our emotions. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This shift in perspective is the foundation of emotional mastery. No one can make you angry. Your emotions are yours to own. Imagine waiting in a long grocery line. A person cuts in front of you without so much as a glance or apology. Instinctively, anger flares. How could they be so rude? But pause for a moment. Take a breath. Consider an alternative perspective. Maybe they're in a rush to attend to a family emergency. Or maybe they simply weren't paying attention. Whatever the reason, your anger won't change their behavior. It only disrupts your peace. By reframing the situation, you transform what could have been a frustrating encounter into an opportunity to practice patience. One of the most powerful tools for mastering emotions is reflection, and this is where the Stoic practice of journaling shines. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations was essentially his personal journal, a place where he analyzed his thoughts and actions. You can do the same. Each evening, spend a few minutes writing about your day. Reflect on moments when your emotions got the better of you. What triggered them? How did you react? Could you have responded differently? Over time, this simple habit helps you uncover patterns in your behavior and equips you with the awareness to choose your responses wisely. Let's take another look at Eleanor. After the meeting, she opened her journal and wrote, "Why did that criticism sting so much? Was it because I feared it was true, or because I felt it was unfair? What can I learn from this?" Through this process, she not only processed her emotions but also grew from the experience. Her journal in practice became a mirror, reflecting her inner world and guiding her toward growth. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. It means acknowledging them without letting them control you. It's about creating a pause between the trigger and your reaction, a pause that allows you to choose calm over chaos. This practice requires consistent effort, but each moment of frustration becomes an opportunity to strengthen your resolve. Think about a fragile glass you use every day. You know it could break at any moment. When it does shatter, you don't rage against its nature, you accept it. People, like that glass, will sometimes disappoint you, frustrate you, or act selfishly. It's in their nature. The key is not to let their actions shatter your peace. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By taking responsibility for your emotions, you reclaim power over your life. You can't control how others act, but you can control your interpretation of their actions. The next time someone criticizes you or tests your patience, pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Often, you'll find that it isn't. Through awareness, reflection, and intentional practice, you can learn to respond with the calm and clarity of a true Stoic. And in doing so, you'll discover a freedom that anger can never offer. 2. Start small, building emotional mastery, step by step. It was a rainy afternoon, and Matthew was stuck in traffic. His car hadn't moved an inch for 20 minutes, and the wipers kept rhythmically sweeping raindrops off the windshield. Frustration was building. He slammed his hand on the steering wheel, muttering, "Why does this always happen when I'm in a rush?" But then, something unusual happened. He paused, took a deep breath, and decided to let it go. He thought, I can't control the traffic, but I can control how I use this time. He turned on an audiobook he'd been meaning to listen to, and for the first time in that standstill, he felt calm. This moment captures the essence of starting small. Stoic philosophy teaches us that mastery over emotions isn't achieved through dramatic transformations, but through consistent practice in daily life's small challenges. As Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In the grand scheme of life, it's often the minor irritations, traffic jams, spilled coffee, or waiting in long lines that test our patience the most. By addressing these smaller frustrations, we prepare ourselves for the bigger emotional trials that will inevitably come. Each moment of irritation is an opportunity to practice self-control. When you face these situations, start by pausing. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs and the tension leaving your body as you exhale. This small act of mindfulness creates a space between the trigger and your response, allowing you to choose calmness over anger. For instance, think about a long queue at the grocery store. Your initial instinct might be annoyance. Why is this line moving so slowly? But instead of letting impatience take over, shift your perspective. Use the time to reflect on your day, observe the people around you, or practice gratitude for having the resources to shop for food. This simple change in mindset turns an otherwise frustrating moment into a peaceful one. Another everyday opportunity to practice is during household chores. Washing dishes, for example, can feel tedious when approached with reluctance. But what if you viewed it as a chance to meditate on the warm water against your hands, or to reflect on the meal you just enjoyed? As Epictetus said, do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but want them to happen as they do, and your life will go well. Approaching mundane tasks with gratitude and acceptance transforms them from burdens into moments of peace. The power of starting small lies in its accessibility. These daily moments of practice build emotional resilience like a muscle. Over time, the discipline you develop in handling minor annoyances prepares you to face larger challenges with grace. Consider Asher, a teacher, who often found herself overwhelmed by her students' noisy behavior. Initially, she reacted with irritation, raising her voice to restore order. But one day, she decided to try a different approach. When the classroom became chaotic, she paused, took a deep breath, and smiled. Instead of yelling, she calmly addressed her students and turned the disruption into a teachable moment about respect. By starting small, changing her reaction to minor disruptions, she gradually became a more patient and effective teacher. Starting small doesn't mean avoiding life's bigger problems. It means preparing for them. Just as a musician practices scales before performing a symphony, mastering the small moments of frustration equips us to handle life's greater challenges. One technique that can help is setting an intention each morning. When you wake up, ask yourself, what minor inconveniences might I face today? How can I use them to practice emotional control? For example, if you know your commute might be delayed, prepare a playlist or a podcast to enjoy during the wait. If you anticipate a stressful conversation, rehearse staying calm and focused on what you can control. This intentionality not only reduces stress, but also trains your mind to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Another effective method is keeping a journal. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect. What small frustrations did I encounter today? How did I respond? Could I have handled it differently? Writing down these reflections creates a record of your progress and strengthens your ability to recognize patterns in your behavior. Over time, you'll notice that the moments that once triggered anger or irritation now feel manageable, even insignificant. Remember, emotional mastery isn't about perfection, it's about progress. As Seneca said, no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. By starting small, you prove to yourself, day by day, that you have the power to choose how you respond to life's challenges. Let's revisit Matthew's story. That day in traffic, he made a conscious decision to practice patience. It wasn't a grand gesture, but it marked a turning point. Over the following weeks, he applied the same principle to other small frustrations, delayed emails, long waits, and even the occasional rude encounter. Slowly but surely, he became less reactive, more composed, and ultimately more at peace with himself. The beauty of starting small is that it's something we can all do every day. Whether it's a broken appliance, a forgotten appointment, or a messy room, each of these moments is a chance to practice. By doing so, you build the resilience to handle life's inevitable storms with strength and grace. And so, the next time you feel frustration creeping in, remember to pause, breathe, and reflect. The moment may seem small, but the impact on your emotional mastery is profound. As you continue to practice, these small victories will accumulate, transforming not only how you respond to life's challenges, but also how you experience its joys. 3. Be prepared for life, embracing the unpredictable. One Friday afternoon, David was gearing up for a long-awaited weekend getaway. His bags were packed, tickets ready, and plans meticulously arranged. As he drove to the airport, the unexpected struck, a sudden car breakdown in the middle of nowhere. Anger started to bubble. Why me? Why now? But before frustration took over, he stopped, took a deep breath, and remembered a principle he had read. Prepare for life as if you know it will be unpredictable. Expect the unexpected, and you'll never be caught off guard. David adjusted his plans, called for roadside assistance, and redirected his energy to making the most of his time. What could have ruined his weekend instead turned into a valuable lesson in resilience and adaptability. This story embodies a Stoic truth. The only certainty in life is uncertainty. As Epictetus said, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Preparing your mind to face life's unpredictability is not about expecting the worst, but about equipping yourself with the mental strength to navigate whatever comes your way. The Stoics practiced a powerful exercise called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involved imagining scenarios where things could go wrong, not to dwell in negativity, but to prepare their minds for those moments. By envisioning potential difficulties, they created emotional readiness. Imagine waking up in the morning and asking yourself, what could go wrong today? Maybe your boss will assign a difficult task, or you might get stuck in traffic. Once you've acknowledged these possibilities, think about how you will respond. This exercise doesn't eliminate challenges, but it robs them of their ability to surprise and unsettle you. For example, consider Emma, a new manager who is leading her first big team project. She hoped everything would go smoothly, but deep down she knew there might be disagreements among team members or delays in the schedule. Each morning, she prepared herself mentally. If conflicts arise, I will listen calmly. If timelines shift, I will adapt. When issues eventually surfaced, Emma was ready. Her preparation allowed her to navigate challenges with composure, earning her team's trust and respect. This principle of readiness applies to even the smallest parts of life. Take daily commutes, for instance. You can't control traffic, weather, or delays, but by preparing your mind, you control your reaction. Instead of fuming over an unexpected jam, plan ahead with a podcast or audiobook. Instead of letting the unpredictability ruin your day, you turn it into an opportunity for reflection or learning. Another critical aspect of being prepared is letting go of rigid expectations. Much of our frustration comes from clinging to how we think things should be. When reality doesn't align with those expectations, we feel angry or disappointed. The Stoics teach us to release this rigidity. Epictetus said, "Want events to happen as they do, and your life will go well." Consider relationships. Imagine planning a special dinner for a loved one, only for them to cancel at the last minute because of work. Your initial reaction might be frustration or hurt. But by releasing your expectation of how the evening should have gone, you open yourself to the possibility of spending the time differently. Perhaps reading a book, enjoying your favorite meal alone, or rescheduling the dinner for another day. When you let go of what's beyond your control, you reclaim your peace. Preparation doesn't make life's challenges disappear, but it transforms your relationship with them. When you expect difficulties as part of the journey, they lose their ability to destabilize you. An excellent practice for strengthening this readiness is journaling. At the end of each day, reflect on what went differently than you had planned. Write about how you handled it and how you might improve next time. For example, what unexpected events did I face today? How did I react? What could I have done better? This daily habit builds self-awareness and equips you to face future uncertainties with greater clarity. Marcus Aurelius captured the essence of this mindset when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Life's obstacles are not barriers, they are opportunities to grow stronger. When you prepare yourself for the unpredictable, you shift from resisting life to embracing it. Let's return to David's story. That afternoon, instead of letting the car breakdown ruin his weekend, he reframed the situation. He used the time to catch up on reading while waiting for help and turned his getaway into a simple staycation with family. By being mentally prepared for the unexpected, he avoided frustration and found joy in adapting to the moment. This principle applies to every aspect of life, whether it's a broken appliance, a delayed flight, or an unexpected turn in your career. Your ability to remain composed stems from your mental preparation. The more you practice, the more resilient you become. So as you face the uncertainties of each day, ask yourself, what can I prepare for? How will I respond? With this mindset, you'll find strength in every situation, and no challenge will catch you unprepared. Life's unpredictability doesn't have to be a source of stress. It can be an invitation to grow, to adapt, and to thrive. 4. Understand instead of judge. Imagine walking into a coffee shop and you see a man raising his voice at the barista over a small mistake in his order. Instinctively, you think, how rude, why is he acting like that? This judgment feels natural, even justified. But what if, instead, you paused and asked yourself, what might he be going through today? This shift from judging to understanding is a profound Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion." Take a moment to reflect. How often do you judge others without knowing their full story? Perhaps you've labeled a colleague as lazy for being late to work. But did you consider they might be caring for an ill family member or struggling with personal difficulties? Judgment comes quickly, but understanding requires effort. Yet, the latter brings peace, while the former only stirs frustration. Imagine Andre, who often found herself irritated by her neighbor's loud music late at night. For months, she judged them harshly. They're inconsiderate and selfish. But one day, after a brief conversation, she learned the neighbor was practicing for a band competition to pay for their education. Understanding the context didn't make the noise disappear, but it softened Andre's emotions. Instead of stewing in anger, she offered her support, and together they found a compromise. This story reveals a key Stoic principle. When we replace judgment with understanding, we transform not only our perspective, but also our relationships. As Epictetus said, seek to understand before you judge, for judgment clouds the truth. Judgment often stems from our expectations of how others should behave. When people don't act according to these expectations, we label them lazy, rude, careless. But these labels do more harm to us than to them. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if someone behaves wrongly, it is not your place to judge them, but to reflect on your own nature. This isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about refusing to let others' actions disrupt your peace. Let's return to the coffee shop scenario. When you see someone behaving rudely, your first reaction might be judgment. That person is awful. But how does this judgment serve you? It fuels irritation, makes you feel morally superior, and leaves a bitter taste. Instead, try to understand. Think, this person might be having the worst day of their life. This thought doesn't excuse the behavior, but it frees you from the negativity of judgment. Judging others is a habit, but so is understanding. With practice, you can train your mind to pause before forming opinions. A practical way to start is by asking yourself 3 simple questions. Do I have the full story? Will this judgment improve the situation? Can I see this from their perspective? These questions create a space between observation and reaction, giving you time to respond with empathy rather than condemnation. Think about how judgment affects your relationships. A friend who forgets your birthday might seem uncaring. But what if they're overwhelmed with personal struggles? A coworker who misses a deadline might seem incompetent. But what if they're navigating challenges you're unaware of? By seeking to understand, you not only spare yourself from unnecessary frustration, but also strengthen your connections with others. Judgment isn't just a lens through which we view others. It's a mirror reflecting our own insecurities and biases. When we judge someone as selfish or arrogant, we're often projecting our fears or frustrations onto them. Recognizing this truth is liberating. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, when you judge another, pause and ask, am I free from this flaw? Letting go of judgment doesn't mean abandoning discernment. You can still recognize when someone's actions are harmful or unfair. But instead of labeling them, you choose to respond in a way that preserves your peace. As Seneca said, the best revenge is not to be like them. To cultivate understanding, practice seeing people as works in progress, just like yourself. No one is entirely good or bad. We are all shaped by our experiences, struggles, and choices. By embracing this perspective, you open yourself to empathy and compassion. In the end, understanding is a gift you give yourself. It lightens your emotional load, deepens your relationships, and helps you navigate life with greater clarity. So the next time you're tempted to judge, pause, reflect, ask yourself, what might this person be experiencing? By replacing judgment with understanding, you free your mind from negativity and embrace the peace of a Stoic life. 5. Practice gratitude, a path to inner peace. One quiet morning, Sophia sat at her kitchen table with a cup of coffee, watching the sunlight dance on the walls. Life had been far from perfect. Work challenges, personal setbacks, and lingering worries filled her days. Yet in that moment, she felt something unexpected: gratitude. The warmth of the sunlight, the aroma of the coffee, the stillness of the morning, all of it reminded her that, despite life's imperfections, beauty still existed. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most profound practices in Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." This daily acknowledgement shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's already present, creating a foundation of peace and resilience. Gratitude isn't about denying life's hardships. It's about recognizing that, even amidst difficulties, there are countless things to appreciate. The Stoics believed that life itself is a gift, a series of moments, both joyful and challenging, that shape our existence. By practicing gratitude, you align yourself with this truth, transforming your perspective and strengthening your emotional resilience. To cultivate gratitude, start small. At the end of each day, reflect on 3 things you're grateful for. These don't have to be grand or life-changing. Sometimes, the smallest blessings carry the deepest significance. Perhaps it's the kindness of a stranger who held the door open for you, the laughter of a loved one, or simply the quiet comfort of your home. By focusing on these moments, you train your mind to notice and cherish them more often. Marcus Aurelius also emphasized the importance of gratitude for the people in our lives. even those who challenge us. He wrote, "Love the people with whom fate has brought you together, but do so with all your heart." This doesn't mean ignoring their flaws or excusing hurtful behavior. Instead, it means appreciating the role they play in your growth. Even difficult relationships can teach us patience, forgiveness, or the value of setting boundaries. Imagine a frustrating coworker who always seems to criticize your work. It's easy to focus on their negativity, but what if you look deeper? What lessons might they be teaching you? Perhaps they're helping you build resilience or sharpen your skills. By practicing gratitude for these hidden lessons, you reclaim your emotional power and transform the relationship. Gratitude also helps us navigate life's uncertainties with grace. When plans fall apart or challenges arise, a grateful mindset reminds us of what we still have. Consider Emma, a mother whose family vacation was canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. Disappointed but determined, she chose to focus on what was still possible. Instead of dwelling on the lost trip, she planned a series of local adventures: a hike, a game night, and a picnic in the backyard. Her gratitude for the time with her family turned what could have been a disappointing week into a cherished memory. This approach doesn't come naturally at first, but it grows with practice. The more you focus on what you have, the less power life's setbacks hold over you. As Seneca wisely said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Gratitude shifts your attention from what's missing to what's abundant, creating a sense of contentment that external circumstances can't shake. A practical way to deepen your gratitude is through mindfulness. Spend a few moments each day fully present in your surroundings. Notice the sensations, sounds, and sights that often go unnoticed. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, listen to the rustling of leaves, or savor the taste of your morning tea. These small acts of mindfulness cultivate a deeper appreciation for the present moment. Another technique is gratitude letters. Write to someone who has positively impacted your life, a mentor, friend, or family member. Express your appreciation for their kindness, wisdom, or support. Whether you send the letter or keep it for yourself, the act of writing deepens your sense of connection and gratitude. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring life's difficulties. Instead, it helps you face them with strength and perspective. When challenges arise, ask yourself, what can I still be grateful for in this moment? This simple question reframes your experience, guiding you toward peace, even in adversity. Returning to Sophia, her morning at the kitchen table wasn't extraordinary by any outward measure, but her choice to embrace gratitude made it extraordinary to her. The sunlight, the coffee, the stillness, these were her reminders that, despite life's imperfections, there was always something to cherish. In practicing gratitude, you discover that joy isn't found in perfection, but in presence. Life's beauty lies not in its absence of challenges, but in the moments of grace that shine through them. When you cultivate gratitude, you open your heart to these moments, transforming not only how you see the world, but also how you live within it. As we conclude, let's reflect on the powerful lessons we've explored today. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true peace and strength come from within. By mastering your emotions, starting small, preparing for life's uncertainties, replacing judgment with understanding, and practicing gratitude, you can cultivate a resilient and fulfilling life. Each of these principles is a step toward reclaiming control over your mind and emotions. When you pause before reacting, when you adapt to challenges with grace, and when you choose gratitude over dissatisfaction, you build a foundation for inner peace. These aren't one-time solutions, but daily practices. Like any skill, they require patience and consistency. Start with something simple. The next time frustration or anger arises, take a deep breath and reflect. Ask yourself, how can I respond differently? Each time you make this choice, you strengthen your ability to navigate life with calm and clarity. Over time, these small victories will lead to profound transformation. We encourage you to practice these lessons daily. Let them guide you in moments of difficulty and remind you of the strength you carry within. Share your experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories of resilience and growth. If this message resonates with you, like this video, subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official, and join us on this journey toward a more mindful and meaningful life. Together, we can transform how we face the world, one moment at a time.